Welcome to Charlotte Readers Podcast, where authors give voice to their written words. This is the show where we meet Charlotte area authors and those who visit the Queen City, and we hear them read their work. Today, I'd like you to meet some of the authors who've appeared on the podcast and get a feel for what we do on the show. I'm your host, Landis Wade. Thank you for listening, and in this case, for watching too.
So tell us about the podcast.
Yeah, so, this is a show where we bring on Charlotte area authors and those who visit the Queen City, and we hear them read their work. We do get into questions about their work and their writing life, but more than that, like the tagline says, they're giving voice to their written words because they're actually reading their work.
Was it all just a big misunderstanding, the uncoupling? Did I make it all up? Could we have tried harder, different, better? If we're this civil and even friendly, then why, exactly, did we split up? This is the story of a charmed divorce.
So, Kathy, is there such a thing as a charmed divorce?
No. No, I mean, not at all.
But it's a good title, right?
It's a great title. I mean, there are charmed circumstances,
Sure.
and that's what we had.
The jury deliberated for 2 days, read some Bible verses on forgiveness, talked the manslaughter holdouts around, and found Nellie Freeman not guilty by reason of insanity, it not being unheard of that a woman could be struck crazy for a short period of time, long enough to kill a lying, cheating husband. The judge allowed her to take her bloody dress and razor with her, and she seems to have vanished from Charlotte. Now that's what I wrote, but as it turned out, she went to Kentucky, married, came back to Charlotte, lived just north of Uptown for 40 years, happily married, raised her family, and died at Mercy Hospital in 1964.
I've got one called The Lawyer's Spouse here.
This is the one I like.
Yeah.
Because this happened to me at home.
I'm glad there's at least one thing you like in the book.
Okay, JD.
The Lawyer's Spouse. That won't work on me. I'm not opposing counsel. Objection, my ass.
Yeah, it's like, wife says, don't cross-examine me. I'm not your witness. I'm not your client.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
What makes a good memoir?
So I think the first thing, the most important part is, and this is a tip that everyone gives for anybody who wants to write memoir, you have to be twice as hard on yourself as you are on anybody else, which means you're unearthing all these memories that are stored in layers in the hopes of uncovering the deepest patterns of your personality. And that's the reward for writing memoir, is self-understanding.
Mensch is a Yiddish word reserved for those few special people we hold in the highest esteem, those who earn our deepest respect. I met such a young man on a sunny, crisp December afternoon on the campus of East Carolina. In that moment of recognition, all those years of being a single parent, feelings of inadequacy, the sleepless nights, paid their dividends in full. I had raised a Mensch.
That's a wonderful story, and I can see how when you read it again, you get emotional about it.
Oh, even now.
I stand too fat, too bald, too old, too dull. I try to will my love into the world. I carve her face in stone and text the gods. I wear a bra upon my brow and chant, in hopes of swiping her into my life. I kiss the screen and wish for her warm lips, but taste of only the cold, hard screen.
Does your wife know that you're on Tinder? Yeah.
I actually had to ask friends about Tinder in order to figure that out.
Now, you've got another work of LGBT fiction coming out in May, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Called Cleo's Rising.
Yeah, it's called Cleo Rising. It's the story, it takes place in 1983, so it's a little bit later than the Ada decades.
And this character comes from Western North Carolina?
Yeah, she does. She comes from just outside of Asheville, and in 1983 she decides that Asheville is too small a town for her, and that she moves to New York City to pursue a career in publishing. And through a series of events, she becomes the Gal Friday to a writer of the lost generation, a woman who accomplished one great book and then sort of became a recluse.
I think of her strange phrases, her agitation. Was it all a code, a message she was trying to send to the people she loved? A message that said, I'm still here, I need you?
I can tell that it's difficult for you even still to read that, isn't it?
It brings back a lot of memories. And
But the great thing about it is that through that pain, there was this sense that she knew who you were. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and that had to make your heart
It
whole.
was such a gift. And, those moments just only came every once in a while. But when
Right.
they did, it was like, wow, just a treasure.
Sunday evenings driving back to KC over that beige rolling prairie, it was always the same. Guilt, doubt, and bug splatter. Coyotes gnawed his Goodyear tires. Roadkill grinned from the side of the road by the light of a madman moon.
By the light of a madman. That doesn't sound like a very fun trip back and forth.
No.
Yeah. Now, you've been known, Gary, you read 4 stories on the podcast, and I've been reading your work. You've been known to write some sort of dark, edgy pieces, right?
Yeah.
After you offended all these women, you were out and about yourself one time, right? And you'd been to yoga, and you thought, I got to get a coffee or something.
Gonna scoot right in
and you
that
just-
Starbucks.
And you scooted right in. And what happened?
Well, because karma
Right,
is a
right.
you know what.
Right.
I was spotted by a girlfriend, and she said, "Well, look who's out in Starbucks in her yoga pants."
She took a picture too, right?
She took a picture, put
Went
it
vi-
up on
Went
Facebook.
viral, yeah.
Went viral, and then I became one of the top 12 in the year-end fashion review
Okay.
of the Charlotte Observer.
Yeah, be careful what you write about. Let's start with Beth's opinion, which I think Beth's her is the protagonist's friend, right?
She was
Yeah,
the best friend.
Yeah, all right,
Yes.
well, let's hear from that.
Okay. So everyone in the whole room focused on my teeth to determine what my basic color was. The class decided it was brown, as in mud, rats, rotten bananas, swamp water, and dirty anything. I ran out the side door after school. Thank heavens, home ec was last period, thinking my cheeks were so hot they must be leaving a trail of smoke.
Violent crime had begun ticking upward nationally. The day before Belton walked into Piedmont courts with his gun concealed under a poncho, the New York Times published its first front-page story about crack, an addictive, purified form of cocaine that had appeared in the Bronx and was spreading through the city. Crack hadn't hit Charlotte yet, at least not in large quantities. That would soon change.
Yeah, and a lot changed in this book. You've got a real arc here from Money Rock, which we'll talk about in just a second. But the nice thing about your book, that when I read it, was it reads a bit like a novel, but you get a lot of facts about Charlotte in the process. What was it like to walk the land of your father with your father?
Yeah, it was powerful. It really felt like there was this sort of rooted consciousness that came up. It was like we were one, and we had had so many conflicts over the years. It just went away, and I just understood him in a totally different way.
So what do you think of the podcast?
Oh, I love the podcast.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
going to tell you something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've told you this, but you do a marvelous job of getting, you're so subtle and so gentle about it, but you really ask the questions that what make people really open up. And I
Good,
just think it's wonderful. And, we have such a wonderful array of authors and poets and writers in this community. And you really are able to get things out of us that maybe some of us are trying to hold back, although we write about it, but
Yeah.
you do a marvelous job.
Thanks, you did that just like I asked you to. Well, that's it for today. Another set of authors giving voice to their written words. Please tune in to Charlotte Readers Podcast. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to get your podcasts, and at our website, charlottereaderspodcast.com. Until the next episode, I'm Landis Wade for Charlotte Readers Podcast.